All right, so you've given us quite the stack of sources here, all about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
It seems like someone's ready for a magical deep dive.
Yeah, it looks like we've got summaries from eNotes.com, Spark Notes, Lit Charts, even some extra bits and pieces.
Yeah, this should be fun with this mix. We can really go beyond, just a simple plot recap.
Yeah.
We can kind of get to the core of the story, but also explore all those little details, the symbolism, the themes that have made this book such a phenomenon, really.
Exactly. It's not just rereading.
Yeah.
We're digging in
Totally.
to what makes this story tick.
Yeah.
So first things first, let's talk about Harry.
Okay.
The boy who lived, as he's so dramatically called in one of the eNotes summaries.
Oh, yeah.
Starting off with the Dursleys, that's rough.
Talk about a contrast.
Yeah.
You go from being ignored and mistreated to suddenly finding out you're a wizard with a celebrity status you never asked for.
Right.
I mean, that's got to be a lot for an 11-year-old to process.
Yeah, and it's not just any wizarding legacy. Right.
This kid is famous for surviving Voldemort's attack as a baby.
Oh, yeah.
That scar's got to be more than just a mark, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. It's a physical link to the dark magic that tried to kill him.
Oh, wow.
It's a constant reminder of his parents' sacrifice and all the expectations that are going to be placed upon him as the chosen one.
Right.
It's almost like a prophecy written on his very skin.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a walking, talking destiny he can't escape.
Exactly.
One of the eNotes summaries even compares him to King Arthur from The Once and Future King.
Oh, yeah.
Both hidden away,
Yeah.
then thrust into a world they were born to rule.
And that's such a powerful archetype, right?
Yeah.
It taps into this universal desire we have to believe that even someone seemingly ordinary can be chosen for greatness.
Yeah.
It makes Harry relatable, even aspirational for readers.
It makes you wonder if those parallels were intentional on Rowling's part. Okay, so Hidden Prince aside, Harry finally arrives at Hogwarts.
The sorting ceremony meeting Ron and Hermione. I bet you were glued to the pages during that part.
Who wasn't? It's like stepping into a world of pure magic and possibility.
I know.
Hogwarts itself becomes a character.
Right.
Symbolizing learning community and the wonder of discovery.
Yeah. And you know what I find really interesting?
What's that?
The Sorting Hat actually considered putting Harry in Slytherin.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Does that mean even heroes have a bit of Slytherin in them?
Exactly.
Like a capacity for ambition or cunning that could go either way.
It challenges the simplistic notion of good versus evil, right? Suddenly, heroism becomes more complex.
Right.
It's not just about being brave or selfless. It's about the choices we make.
Wow.
The path we choose to follow, even with those Slytherin traits lurking inside us.
Mind blown. Okay, back to Hogwarts. Can't forget Quidditch.
Of course.
I mean, flying on broomsticks, scoring goals.
Yeah.
That's every kid's dream come true.
Right. And it's more than just a sport for Harry. It's where his natural talent shines through, his connection to the wizarding world.
Right.
Plus, it requires courage and determination qualities that foreshadow his future battles against Voldemort.
Good point. But even with Quidditch and all the fun stuff, there's this underlying sense of mystery brewing.
Yes.
Remember that three-headed dog guarding the trap door?
Oh, yeah.
Harry, Ron, and Hermione become like little detectives trying to figure out what's going on.
Totally. That dog Fluffy is like a classic guardian figure, straight out of mythology.
Yeah.
And speaking of three, that number pops up everywhere in the book.
Does it?
3 friends, 3 tasks later on 3 magical objects they have to get past.
Wow.
It's like Rowling embedded a code in the story.
It's kind of creepy. But cool. What do you think the number 3 symbolizes? Some kind of magical trifecta.
Could be, in many cultures, 3 represents completeness or balance.
Okay.
Maybe it reflects the power of unity, the 3 friends working together. Or perhaps it alludes to a deeper magical principle, a kind of trinity at the heart of the wizarding world.
Interesting. And then we've got Snape. Always lurking around, seemingly hating Harry for no reason. That always bugged me as a kid.
Oh, Snape is a masterpiece of character development.
Is he?
He's shrouded in ambiguity, making us question his loyalties. Is he friend or foe?
Right.
That question keeps us hooked and fuels the suspense throughout the early books.
Totally. So driven by curiosity and maybe a little bit of rule breaking, our heroes decide to solve the mystery of Nicholas Flamel and the Sorcerer's Stone themselves.
Oh, yeah, they really dive headfirst into that.
They do. Their resourcefulness and courage are remarkable.
I know.
They use logic, teamwork, and, of course, magic to decipher clues.
It's a reminder that even young people can be capable of extraordinary things when they work together.
And they're not afraid to break the rules when they need to.
Right.
Speaking of which, the Mirror of Arised scene,
Yeah.
that always gets to me, seeing Harry's yearning for his parents. It just tugs at the heartstrings.
Oh, yeah. The mirror is such a powerful symbol of desire and its potential pitfalls.
Right.
It shows us that what we long for most deeply isn't always what's best for us. Dumbledore makes a good point about that, doesn't he?
He does.
True happiness lies in accepting reality and finding joy in the present moment.
Yeah. Heavy stuff for a kid's book.
Right.
But speaking of heavy, things get really dark when Voldemort's presence becomes undeniable.
Yeah.
That whole thing with the unicorn blood.
Wait, so Voldemort needed unicorn blood?
Uh-huh.
That's dark even for him.
I know.
What does that say about the price of immortality?
Right.
It seems like a pretty twisted path he's on.
And then the attempted theft of the stone. The stakes are definitely getting higher.
Oh, yeah.
The final confrontation with Quirrell Voldemort possessing him, it's intense.
It is, and the way Harry's mother's love literally protects him.
Yeah.
Talk about a powerful force.
Right.
It's a testament to selfless sacrifice, that magical barrier Voldemort couldn't break.
Yeah.
This idea of love is the ultimate weapon against evil.
That becomes a defining characteristic of the entire series, doesn't it?
Totally. And of course, we can't forget Gryffindor winning the House Cup. It's such a triumphant moment, even though Harry has to go back to the Dursleys for the summer.
Yeah, that bittersweet ending is really important.
Right.
Harry's two worlds, the magical and the mundane, are constantly clashing.
Yeah.
And being forbidden to use magic at the Dursleys only emphasizes that struggle, setting the stage for his future rebellion.
Oh, for sure. So, big picture time, we've covered the basic plot.
Okay.
But what about the deeper themes?
Yeah.
What makes Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone so captivating?
Well, we've seen how Rowling blends fantasy mystery and coming-of-age elements.
Right.
The book explores universal themes of friendship, courage, and the struggle between good and evil, making it resonate with readers of all ages.
And she doesn't shy away from those tougher questions, does she?
Nope.
Like, what about all the other magical kids who aren't famous?
Oh, yeah.
Do they have adventures too?
Or are they just living normal lives in this extraordinary world?
Oh, that's a great question.
Right.
It really makes you think about the vastness of Rowling's creation and the untold stories within it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find some of those in our next deep dive.
That's for later, but first we've got more to uncover in Sorcerer's Stone.
Okay.
There's a whole layer of detail and symbolism we haven't even touched on yet.
Right, we've barely scratched the surface.
Right.
There's so much more to discover in this magical world.
I know. Okay, so we've talked about Harry's, grand destiny, his arrival at Hogwarts.
Right.
The looming threat of Voldemort.
Uh-huh.
But there's this other detail that keeps popping up in the sources. And it's honestly kind of bugging me.
What's that?
The fact that Harry isn't allowed to use magic outside of Hogwarts.
Oh, yeah.
Especially at the Dursleys.
Right.
It seems so unfair. Here's this powerful wizard, famous throughout the magical world.
Right.
Stuck in a mundane suburban prison where he can't even practice his abilities.
It does create a fascinating tension.
Right.
It's like he's living a double life,
Yeah.
the boy who lived, versus just plain Harry forced to suppress a huge part of who he is.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if those restrictions are more about control than safety. Is the magical world trying to keep a lid on him?
Right.
And it makes me think about all those other magical kids we were talking about. Hermione, for instance, is a Muggle-born witch,
Right.
according to the lit charts analysis.
Yeah.
Does that mean there's a whole network of magic users hiding in plain sight?
It's a tantalizing possibility
Oh,
that there has to be some kind of system in place, right?
Yeah.
Rules, maybe even secret societies governing how magic operates in the non-magical world.
Right.
Imagine the stories we haven't heard. Magical kids trying to blend in.
Oh, yeah.
Accidental spells causing chaos. Parents desperately trying to keep their powers under wraps.
It's like this whole hidden layer of the wizarding world operating right under our noses.
Right.
And it adds another dimension to Harry's journey. He's not just learning about magic. He's learning about the delicate balance between the magical and the mundane.
Yeah.
And the consequences of revealing too much.
Exactly. And speaking of consequences, remember how the Sorting Hat actually considered putting Harry in Slytherin?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It makes you question the whole nature of heroism, doesn't it?
Could Harry have actually become a villain?
Right?
Is there really just a thin line between good and evil?
It's a question that haunts the entire series. Think about it.
Yeah.
Ambition and cunning traits often associated with Slytherin aren't inherently bad.
Right.
They can be used for good or evil depending on the individual's choices.
Hmm.
The Sorting Hat's dilemma suggests that even heroes have the potential for darkness,
Yeah.
and perhaps even villains have a flicker of light within them.
So it's like the Sorting Hat saw a bit of both in Harry.
Right.
And ultimately, he chose the path of good.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes you wonder what might have happened if he'd gone the other way.
Right. It emphasizes the power of choice and the idea that we're not simply defined by our nature or our upbringing. Yeah.
We have the ability to shape our own destinies.
Which is a pretty powerful message. And it's not the only recurring motif in the book.
Right.
You mentioned the number 3 earlier, and I can't get it out of my head.
Oh, yeah.
The 3 friends,
Uh-huh.
the 3-headed dog,
Yeah.
the 3 tasks in the climax.
Right.
What's the significance?
Well, the number 3 holds deep symbolic meaning in many cultures.
Okay.
It often represents completeness, balance, or a trinity of forces.
Uh-huh.
In Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, it could be hinting at the power of unity, the interconnectedness of the magical world, or even the 3 essential aspects of a hero's journey:
Okay.
courage, wisdom, and love.
Ooh, I like that. Courage, wisdom, and love.
Yeah.
It's like a recipe for heroism.
Yeah.
And speaking of heroes, let's not forget that the reason Harry, Ron, and Hermione even got involved in all this danger was because of the Sorcerer's Stone itself.
Oh, right.
This mysterious artifact that everyone seems to want.
Yes, the MacGuffin that drives the entire plot.
Yeah. Immortality and unlimited wealth, it's the ultimate temptation.
It is
That, as we see with Voldemort,
Right.
those desires can corrupt even the most brilliant minds.
Voldemort's obsession with the stone is chilling. He's willing to do anything to obtain it, even drink unicorn blood.
Speaking of which,
I know, right?
we never really dug into that why unicorn blood.
Yeah.
Of all the magical ingredients, it seems particularly dark and desperate.
Yeah, it's a bit creepy. The sources don't go into a ton of detail, but it sounds like Voldemort's resorting to some seriously dark magic to regain his power. What do you think it says about him?
It reveals the depths of his depravity, his willingness to exploit innocent creatures for his own gain.
Yeah.
And it highlights the corrupting nature of his desire for immortality. He's so fixated on cheating death
Right.
that he loses sight of what it truly means to live.
Which is ironic because the very thing that defeats him in the end is Harry's mother's love, to be exact.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the ultimate contrast of Voldemort seeking immortality through power and darkness, while Harry is protected by a force he doesn't even fully understand.
It's a beautiful paradox.
Right.
It suggests that love is not merely a sentimental emotion, but a powerful magical force capable of overcoming even the darkest magic.
Yeah.
It's a theme that runs throughout the series, reminding us that compassion, empathy, and selflessness are not weaknesses, but sources of strength.
And it's not just Harry's mother's love that's important.
Mm-hmm.
He also has Ron and Hermione, his loyal companions who stand by him through thick and thin.
Yes, they embody the power of friendship and the importance of teamwork. Ron with his unwavering loyalty,
Right.
and Hermione with her quick thinking and resourcefulness. They complement Harry perfectly. Together, they represent the idea that we're stronger together than we are alone.
They're like the 3 legs of a stool,
Yes.
providing stability and support. And let's not forget about the adult mentors who guide them.
Oh, yeah.
Dumbledore, Hagrid,
Right.
even Professor McGonagall, despite her stern exterior.
They represent the wisdom and experience that young people need to navigate the complexities of life.
Yeah.
They offer encouragement, guidance, and sometimes a much-needed push in the right direction.
Dumbledore in particular seems to be playing a long game here.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a chess master, orchestrating events behind the scenes and trusting Harry to make his own choices,
Uh-huh.
even if those choices involve a bit of rule breaking.
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
It raises questions about the nature of leadership, the balance between guidance and autonomy,
Right.
and the subtle ways in which mentors shape their protégés' paths.
It makes you wonder about the other adults in the magical world, too.
Yeah.
What are their roles in all of this? What secrets are they keeping, and what motivates their actions?
Excellent questions.
Yeah.
It seems we've only just begun to unravel the intricate tapestry of the wizarding world. There's so much more to explore and understand, but for now, let's shift our focus to another aspect of Sorcerer's Stone that really jumped out at me from the source material.
You know, one thing that's been kind of nagging at me as we've been going through these summaries is the sheer amount of rule breaking going on at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry, Ron, and Hermione are practically professional rule benders at this point.
Right. It's like every other chapter, they're sneaking out after curfew, exploring forbidden corridors, even facing down a giant three-headed dog.
Oh, yeah.
You'd think they'd have a permanent detention by now.
But here's the thing. It's rarely about, mindless rebellion.
Right.
Their rule-breaking often stems from a deeper sense of justice, a need to protect the innocent or uncover the truth.
Right.
They're guided by their own moral compass, even if it means defying authority.
It's like they instinctively know that sometimes the rules just aren't enough.
Right.
Sometimes you have to break them to do what's right, which, let's be honest, is a pretty grown-up concept for a group of 11-year-olds. Absolutely. It raises some pretty complex questions about the nature of authority, the limits of obedience, and the individual's responsibility to follow their conscience.
Yeah.
It's not often you see a children's book tackle such nuanced moral dilemmas.
Exactly. And it's not just about the kids, right? The adults in this story are fascinating, too.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Dumbledore, this enigmatic figure who seems to operate on a whole other level.
Right.
Then there's McGonagall, stern but fiercely protective, and Hagrid, who's like a big softy with a heart of gold.
It's a brilliant ensemble cast, each character representing a different aspect of the wizarding world.
Right.
They offer guidance and support to Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
Right.
But they also have their own secrets and complexities, which makes them all the more intriguing.
Dumbledore especially is a puzzle. He seems to know so much more than he lets on.
Yeah.
And he trusts Harry implicitly, even when Harry's actions seem impulsive or even reckless.
It's like he's playing a long game, as you mentioned earlier.
Right.
He understands that sometimes breaking the rules is necessary for the greater good. He embodies a kind of flexible morality, recognizing that rules are not absolute, and that compassion and intuition also have a role to play.
It makes you wonder if he's ever had to break the rules himself.
Right.
Maybe that's why he's so understanding of Harry's impulses.
That's a great point. It suggests that even the wisest and most powerful figures have their own struggles.
Right.
And that perhaps they've learned from their own mistakes.
And speaking of mistakes, Hagrid, bless his heart, seems to make quite a few of them.
Oh, yeah.
He means well, but his impulsiveness often lands him and Harry in hot water.
Hagrid represents the heart of the wizarding world, full of wonder and a deep connection to magical creatures.
He does.
He's a reminder that even in a world of spells and sorcery, kindness and loyalty are still the most valuable qualities.
Yeah.
But his impulsiveness does highlight the potential consequences of good intentions gone awry.
Right. And then there's Snape. Oh, Snape. We could probably do a whole deep dive just on him. He's such a complex character, so brooding and sarcastic, especially towards Harry.
Snape is a masterclass in character development.
Really?
He's shrouded in mystery, his motivations unclear. Is he truly antagonistic towards Harry, or is there something more going on beneath the surface? It's a question that keeps us guessing and adds a layer of tension to the entire story.
And it's a reminder that appearances can be deceiving.
Yeah.
Someone who seems unlikable or even cruel might have hidden depths and reasons for their behavior that we don't fully understand.
Exactly. Snape embodies the duality of human nature, the capacity for both darkness and light within a single soul.
Wow. So we've gone from rule-breaking students to the moral complexities of the adult world.
Right.
It seems like every corner of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is packed with symbolism and meaning.
That's the magic of Rowling's storytelling.
It's amazing.
She creates a world that's both fantastical and deeply human, inviting us to explore complex themes and grapple with moral dilemmas alongside her characters.
It's incredible how much depth and richness she packs into what on the surface appears to be a simple children's story.
Right.
It's no wonder Harry Potter has become such a global phenomenon.
It speaks to the power of storytelling, to transport us to other worlds, to challenge our assumptions.
Right.
And to remind us of the enduring power of values like love, friendship, and courage.
Well, I think we've successfully unpacked Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, peeling back the layers to reveal the hidden depths of this beloved story.
We've explored the characters, the themes, the symbolism, and even touched upon the complexities of the wizarding world itself.
It's been a magical journey, and I have a feeling we'll be revisiting the world of Harry Potter again soon.
I suspect you're right. There's always more to discover in Rowling's universe.
Until then, dear listener, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the magic alive.